Oh, you just pressed play on This Week with Drunk Astrology. My name is Graham Breitenstein. I'm your astrologer and the creator of Drunk Astrology. If you're looking for someone to make astrology make sense to you and for you, well, my friend, you have come to the right place. Here on this podcast, we discuss the weekly cosmic weather. And when we break it down, we break it down. I believe that astrology can be used as a tool to inform your daily decisions and enhance your day-to-day life. So if you're ready to have a hell of a lot of fun with astrology, make some strategic decisions, and to just keep it real, well, that journey starts right now. Happy Labor Day weekend, everybody. This is the podcast for the week of September 5th through the 11th, 2022. I hope that you had an amazing week, but I do want to just start off by asking, did anyone else have like a really weird week last week? And I know I talked about it and I gave you the heads up that you had to wake up every single day and say, I can take whatever comes my way today. I'm prepared. I'm going to bend, not break. I'm going to be flexible. I'm going to work with the energy, not against the energy. But was the week not crazy? I felt like I spent all week ducking and dodging and bending instead of breaking because there were so many moments. Oh my God, there were so many moments every single day. Like, I typically do, this is just to give you a personal example before we get into this week. Now, I typically work out like the first thing in the morning, like nowhere near afternoon. I'm usually like done, before it ever gets like 11 a.m. at the latest. Every single night last week, I would start my workout anywhere between 9:30 at night and 11:30 at night. That's how much my week got flopped on its ass. So if you had a week like that, maybe go back and listen to last week's podcast just so you know you're not crazy. We had so many adjusting aspects. I mean, the moon was making them, the planets were making them. There's a few of them this week, but nowhere near as many as we had last week. I mean, last week when I was writing all the aspects down, I was like, this is actually ridiculous. But here we are. You made it to the other side of an otherwise like pretty difficult week as far as frustrations and annoyance and energy to overcome. Let me just give you another example. So I have a meeting this week. It's a pretty big meeting for Drunk Astrology and for the things that are, to come ahead in the future. And my future sister-in-law, Narina, who I always have look over my website, and she helps me with, just kind of like marketing materials, and she really just helps guide me and give me, just like really support me on that side of things because, not an area of expertise for me. I'm the creative, I'm the astrologer, that's my wheelhouse. So talk about adjusting energy. In preparation for this big meeting coming up this week, I reached out and said, hey, I have this meeting and I want to make sure, like, will you scan my website and make sure that everything looks good? And I want things to be top notch and top, I want everything to be like high bar, being the preparatory Virgo that I am. And she wrote back something to the extent of, I'm trying to find a nice way to say your website is garbage. So you want to guess who built an entire new website in 48 hours? It was actually 24 hours, but in 48 hours literally recreated an entire website that she approves of in 48 hours. And I'm telling you, like, sun up to sundown, literally didn't do anything but filling out this new, creating this new website. And I will say it's not, as of today, which is the 4th of September, It's not live yet, so don't go looking. If you want to go look at what she says is complete garbage, go to drunkastro.com and get your last peek, because this week the new is dropping, so that it's ready for by the time I have this meeting. And I guess now that I've brought up this meeting, I'll have to just keep you all in the loop, because it is part of the Mercury retrograde story. Because just so you know, this week, Mercury stations retrograde on Friday. So from the 9th till October 2nd, he's going to be retrograde, but he's been in his shadow since August 21st. So we're already working with our shadow story. And that's just the preview. That's just the chapter 1. So that things that you've been working with and ruminating on and thinking about, you're already a part of this story. So we're coming into the beginning of chapter 2 this week. And here's the thing I want to say about Mercury retrograde, because yes, it comes with its annoyances and its frustrations and its technology snafus, communication crosswires, and missed appointments, or, oh, shoot, I forgot, or I'm 30 minutes late because my street was blocked. There's so many things that come up with it. And one thing I will say, to be proactive and to do your good retrograde work, do back up your devices. This is going between 8 degrees of Libra and 24 degrees of Virgo. So anything from 24 to 29 of Virgo and 0 to 8 degrees of Libra. So you want to look at your mutable planets. That's your Virgo, your Pisces, your Gemini, your Sagittarius planets and houses. And then you also want to look at your cardinals. That's your Libra, your Aries, your Cancer, and your Capricorn planets. Because those are all going to get stimulated at some point during this Mercury retrograde. And of course, if you have anything of those degrees in Virgo or Libra, well, then you know that the planets are directly, that Mercury is directly talking to those planets and placements in your chart. So you do want to back up your devices, because Mercury in Virgo is very much about your computer and your phone and your cars and batteries and remotes. But as we know, with every retrograde, yes, things from the past resurface. And a lot of times, people that I talk to, either clients or friends or family, and I hear like, oh no, retrograde, that means that stupid ex always comes back on a retrograde, and it's so annoying, and I hate it. And I just want to say, first of all, anything that comes back up, or anyone that comes back up during a retrograde cycle, it's just the universe posing a question. Do you want to keep this dynamic as it is, or do you want to renegotiate the terms of the agreement or the relationship and move forward in a different way? That's really just it. Just bear everything else down to that, to just asking yourself a question. If it is like a business deal or a business relationship, do I want to keep things as is, or do I want to revisit, renegotiate, and proceed in a different way? Things that come back and you want to keep, this is great. This is a great energy for that, to just go, oh, let me slow down what I'm doing. The new things that I'm trying to press forward with, let me slow that down a little bit and kind of see like the things and the people that resurface during this cycle. Are they somebody, or is this something that can actually help, and I just have to renegotiate the terms of this agreement? But I also want to empower you with this. Retrograde somebody. And this is what I mean by that. You have the power within you to reach out to someone that if someone's been on your mind, let me say this, if someone's been on your mind, and, it doesn't have to just always be the romantic gaze, right? You can take that and just say, anyone that you've been feeling like, oh my gosh, I haven't talked to in so long, I need to reach out to them. Well, do your proper retrograde work. This is when the reunions are so welcomed, and so that's the great part of the energy of a retrograde, especially when you're talking about Mercury, you're talking about people, you're talking about, communication devices. You have so many different ways to get in touch. Now, if you are trying to find somebody, if you're trying to reconnect with somebody and you don't know how to, well, this is like tap your community. Between 1 and 2 degrees of separation from where you're at right now, you have what you need to get what you want. And this retrograde is just a great reminder of anyone from the past that you feel that you got disconnected from, and you're wanting to reunite and you're wanting to connect again. Then that's why I say, I'm talking to those of you that are in that boat. Go retrograde somebody. Show up and say, I know it's been forever, but you've been on my mind. You've shown up in my dreams, and I want to reconnect. And I would love to, either talk on the phone, do a FaceTime, or, meet up for coffee if you're in the same space. And along these lines as well, moving from just the Mercury retrograde component of this, all eyes in the sky are on Mercury, and Mercury is going to be ruling the sky for a while. Okay, now, not that he's the only one ruling the sky, but let me tell you something. Sun's in Virgo, Venus is in Virgo, Mercury's going to eventually retrograde back into Virgo, and Mars is in Gemini. So all those planets are answering to Mercury, but now we have to shift to, this is another item that I want to talk about this week. Now, this is really going to start, the energy shift that I'm going to bring up now is with Saturn, and it's really going to take in effect next week, but it does shift at the very end of the week. Now, this is getting into some real astro geeky land, but I think it's definitely something to call out just so that you're prepared, because this is a big energy shift. Our outer planets really set the stage for what all the inner planets, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Mars, what they're all going to be working with, and the dynamic. So Saturn is shifting. Now, he is in Aquarius, and he's at 20 degrees this week, but when he gets to Sunday, he's going to shift back to 19 degrees of Aquarius. Now, there are these, and I love this little astro geek term, but they're called decans. They are subdivisions of a sign's energy and the ruler. So each sign gets 30 degrees, right? We know that. 0 to 29 degrees is what we get in a sign. But decans subdivide those 30 degrees in 10-degree chunks. So 0 to 9 degrees of a sign, you are in the sign's expression fully, right? So if, like, just say Saturn was between 0 and 9 degrees of Aquarius, he's in Aquarius in the Aquarius decan, right? So Saturn and Uranus both are ruling that section, that division of those first 10 degrees. Then from 10 to 19 degrees of Aquarius, well, Saturn is in the Aquarius Gemini expression in the division. Okay, so that means not only are Saturn and Uranus ruling that energy, but now Mercury steps in. And then from 20 to 29 degrees of Aquarius, Saturn is in the Aquarius Libra expression with Venus as the co-ruler. So Saturn has been in the Aquarius Libra division. So Venus, ruling money, desire, relationships, and harmony. So if you've been feeling that, Saturn in Aquarius has really been, pandemic energy, lockdown, restrictions, refinement, as far as how we travel, how we connect on a global scale. But with Libra as the subdivision and Venus as that co-ruler, so that also says, restrictions within interpersonal relationships, call-outs. Saturn in the Libra decan of Aquarius has been, calling out relationships, that aren't working. There's been a lot of relationships ending. There's the celebrity level, and then there's just, take a look around and look at where, people are having a really hard time in their relationships. And they're learning a lot of hard lessons. These are karmic lessons. These are karmic challenges within relationships. Well, now, baby, Saturn is shifting out of that Libra decan and into the Gemini decan. So you hear something that I just was talking about? All eyes on Mercury, because now Saturn is going to be, until December 4th, co-ruling with Mercury, right? So we're going to have that Saturn-Uranus energy of Aquarius. So the collective, your friends, your communities. But now it shifts into Mercury land, which is the local community. So your daily life within local community is now going to shift with a Saturn expression on it. So what I'm starting to wonder, and the questions that I'm starting to ask, with all eyes on Mercury, one, how are we going to be asked to explore our options? How are we going to ask questions? Now, this is carrying us into, here in the States, it's carrying us into elections and all of that. And so exploring our options and asking the right kinds of questions to the people that are supposed to be representing us. So that's like, okay. But also, like, where's the repercussions on our decisions? Gemini is an exploration of intellectual energy, right? So you're supposed to live curious. You're supposed to, explore your options and entertain variety, right? Variety is the spice of life. But with the Saturn expression on, where are we experiencing the consequences of our options, of exploring variety, of maybe like of that indecision? Those the people that are just like, that they don't have a side, like maybe some repercussions, like, okay, by not having a side, you're actually choosing, like not choosing is also a choice, right? So that is something that this like Saturn in the Gemini decan of Aquarius is going to be really interesting. You also want to watch for gossip. You want to watch for social media gaslighting, and that during election cycles that social media can go haywire. That the news, we're going to get mixed messages and scrambled messaging. So you want to double check and fact check and triple check. This isn't just, I don't want to just put this on a political level, but this is just something that you want to keep in mind, that now this is a big energy shift. And it takes place on, it shifts back to 19 degrees on Sunday. So really next week, we're going to, the week of my birthday. Perfect. Because let's just plug that in. Your astrologer's birthday is Tuesday, September 13th. So let me know if you want to send any gifts. We'll accept any gifts anybody wants to send. Thank you so much. Or just a nice message is fine. But yeah, Tuesday, September 13th. Just in time for Saturn shifting into the Gemini decan. Perfect. And is there anything else that I wanted to say? I don't think so. I think that's good. This shift with Saturn is going to take place until December 4th. And then it will shift back into the Aquarius Libra decan until next year, when Saturn gets into Pisces. And we'll be working with Saturn in Pisces for 2.5 years. Hello. Next year, I'm telling y'all, the first quarter of next year, now that I've already been mapping out the aspects, baby, it is a sight to behold, that first quarter of 2023. So, well, let's take the plus side of a retrograde and slow the F down, because it sounds like, or it looks like, top of next year, the beginning is gonna be a slingshot. Okay, so what else? We have a full moon this week in Pisces. Hello. So we'll talk about that when we talk about the moons. We have just a couple of adjusting aspects, and also Venus enters Virgo. So again, I'm recording this on September 4th. So Venus actually makes her shift into Virgo at 9:05 p.m. tonight, Pacific time. But if you are an East Coaster, that's not until just after midnight, Monday the 5th, on Labor Day. Okay, is there anything else? I'm just checking. Okay. All right. Great. All right. Let's talk about the moons. And we're going to get you on your merry little way. It's hot as all get out. I don't know about where you are right now, but here in LA, baby, it is so hot. So definitely going to my friend's pool today. Oh, cannot wait for that. All right, let's talk about the moons. So Monday the 5th, the moon is in Capricorn. It has quite a few aspects. So it is a very busy and adjusting energy to Monday. Remember, the moon in Capricorn is in its detriment. She doesn't like to be in Capricorn. She's isolated. And you know why she's isolated? Because she's at the top of that freaking mountain, or she's working to get to that friggin' mountain. So just remember, with Capricorn moon energy, and if you are someone with a Capricorn moon, just remember that you might make it to the top of that mountain, but there's a whole village of people at the base of that mountain having a great time. Go have some fun, so balance out. You really want to consider that when the moon's in Capricorn. And there is a really nice trine to the sun at 5:25 p.m. With that Capricorn moon on Monday. So that's just great flowy energy with, the work you're trying to put out, and the sun's in Virgo looking at your daily life, your daily routines. So, work hard, play hard. And yours truly will be at a pool party. So definitely, which interestingly enough is a little work related. Of course, a Capricorn moon trining the sun in Virgo. I'm a Virgo, and Capricorn rules my 5th house of fun. So yeah, I have to schedule my fun, and work becomes fun, fun becomes work. Whatever it is. Who cares? We care, obviously. Then Tuesday, September 6th, is my best friend from back home, Eden's birthday. So happy birthday, Eden, even though I don't think she listens to this podcast, but at least I said it out loud. The Capricorn moon goes void at 2:43 p.m. Remember, all the times I give you are Pacific Daylight Time. So just adjust for your time zones. But the Cap moon goes void with a conjunction to Pluto. So that's, it's that either way, but it's like it's a new shift. It's a new change. It's a new direction, especially when it comes to work. So, let's just use my story, for example. I will likely make the new website live by Tuesday. And then, so the moon is void all the way from 2:43 p.m. to 8:41 p.m. So remember, when the moon is void, not the ideal time to start anything new. You want to work on existing projects. Anything that's already in motion, that's where your sweet spot is, because the moon's asleep, and technically you should be too. Or at least your hardwired brain, for working and whatnot. Now, of course, when it falls in the middle of the day and you're like, hey, I have to work, so what else am I supposed to do? Just work on things that are already in motion. But at 8:41 on Tuesday, the moon enters Aquarius. It is in Aquarius all day Wednesday the 7th. And let me tell you something. There are 6 aspects, 2 of which are adjusting, but 5 of which are super flowy, productive, collaborative, and juicy on Wednesday. So you're busy. But just know that the things that are in motion, even if you're having to make adjustments, even if you're frustrated, just know that they are all working in your favor. Because there is also an adjusting aspect between the sun and Chiron on Wednesday. So just know that, you might not feel it. You might be a little in your feelings. You might be a little self-doubty. You might be kind of in that, overthinking mind a little bit. And maybe not feeling like everything that's in motion is working for you and not against you. But I'm telling you right now, all these other aspects, everything that is in motion for you, even if you don't know it, is working for you. Okay? Then Thursday the 8th, the Aquarius moon goes void at 5:34 a.m. with a conjunction to Saturn. So that Aquarius moon, again, the conjunction can go either way, good, bad, and different. But now it's like getting your ducks in a row, getting the foundation settled and established. Aquarius is also, technology. So again, the Aquarius moon could be great for backing up your technology, your devices, just making sure that all your tech things are safe and secure. And also, just could be some lessons there with friends. You might have a little bit of a quarrel. But everything is fine. But it's just okay, that conjunction to Saturn can be a little bit of a downer. Doesn't have to be, but it can be. Then that Aquarius moon is void all the way from 5:34 a.m. until 9:42 p.m. when the moon enters Pisces. So now, the Pisces moon, all day Friday the 9th, makes adjusting aspects, and there's also an adjusting aspect between Venus and Jupiter that day. That's the same day that Mercury stations retrograde. So Friday is an icky. That's a good word. It's an icky day. And also Thursday, gonna kind of blanket the retrograde. Give it a day or two before, day or two after. So really, the late half of the week, the second half of the week, that's it's icky. Okay, now because it's gonna have that Mercury retrograde looming over it. The Pisces moon on Friday is adjusting like crazy. And then Venus and Jupiter are also adjusting, so that can just make it feel like there's a lot going on. And we're also building up to this Pisces full moon, which takes place Saturday the 10th. And this Pisces moon, before we talk about that, goes void at 5:29 p.m. with a sextile to Pluto. So that's a great closing aspect. It is, it's nervous energy about change, like how things are changing, and it's nervous energy. Now, the Pisces full moon takes place at 2:59 a.m. at 17 degrees and 41 minutes of Pisces. So you'll want to look at 17 of Pisces, but also of your mutables. So again, the mutable signs are Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius. So here's the thing about, because this full moon is yanking and talking to and culminating stories with those mutables, especially in or around 17 degrees of Pisces. So now, here's the thing. Now, I'm going to do, I would do it on Friday, but of course that's the day Mercury stations retrograde. Now, I'm not afraid of a retrograde, even though as Mercury ruled as I am, I should be. But I'm not gonna let it. So I'm going to do another wishing well for the Pisces full moon, and I will likely do it on Friday. Hopefully you're on the newsletter. If you're not on the Cosmic News train, I encourage you to do so because I will announce it to newsletter subscribers first, and then, a little more closer to the actual event on social media. So on Friday the 9th, we can anticipate a wishing well. So I'm going to go ahead and write this down. Okay. Bam. And so the Pisces full moon, it's climax time. And Pisces is a water sign. Now, it is Jupiter's watery expression. So it's about emotional exploration. This is a time when we typically run highly sensitive and highly emotional. But you have to think about it. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So being that means that the moon has completed is completing all 11 cycles from before and now coming to this last energy. So she's tired, right? So the energy is of one of, it's emotional, it's nostalgic, and it's one of like I'm energetically exhausted. Right? And it has a lot to do with endings and beginnings. I want you to think back to the new moon from March 2nd to the 18th of this year. Okay? And I want you to think about what you initiated and ended simultaneously, because that's what the Pisces new moons are always. They're fun, but a little tricky because there are endings involved with your new beginnings. And so now we're climaxing that story. So I looked back at my March 2nd through the 18th, and one of the endings and beginnings was a new accountant, because I realized that the accountant I had been working for was getting away with absolute financial murder. I was doing all the work and paying her so much friggin' money. And then when I actually talked to other business owners, they were like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. So, no. So, yeah, that was like a big ending. But it was also a wake-up call, because I realized, this accountant is associated to somebody and was a recommendation from somebody that they themselves, get away with financial murder. So it's like, oh, of course, like, the apple doesn't fall from the fall. Oh my God, Graham, fall far from the tree. So it was just like, oh yeah, I need to reinvigorate this right now. And there was actually a lot going on at that time. But yeah, so like this full moon's going to culminate the stories that were going on from the 2nd through the 18th of March of this year. And so because there is this big call for daily balance between your daily duties and your rest, your relaxation, your processing time, there is a lot to do with repeating patterns and acknowledging that you're repeating patterns. And, with whatever you have going on, with whatever you're feeling energetically exhausted by, with whatever, where you're feeling a little angry, you have to be able to, and you have to be willing to acknowledge self-sabotaging patterns and where you are getting in your own way. Explore this from a spiritual lens too. Is that really what God wants from you? Or is that really what the universe wants from you? Do you think the universe is not looking for your higher good? Because it is. And so things that pop up between September 10th and the 25th, when we have the Libra new moon, that's the question to ask. Like, is this all for my growth, or is this a result of something that I'm repeating that's no good for myself? And I also want to bring up this Pisces full moon in particular. Forgiveness becomes a big word. And the best piece of advice I ever received about forgiveness, because I'll speak for myself, and I'm sure many of you out there can identify. A lot of times you don't want to forgive somebody for the shitty things they've done to you, or the things that you've experienced from as a result of their actions or their lack of whatever. And a lot of times you don't want to give that forgiveness, but the best piece of advice I can pass on to you that I received myself was that forgiveness is not for them. Forgiveness is for you to move on, right? So you don't even have to say, I forgive you to that person. They don't need to know anything about your journey, your emotional journey, right? It's not important. What's important is that within yourself, you forgive them, you forgive yourself for your side of things, and you genuinely let that fill you up. You genuinely let that guide you to your next chapter, because by holding on to it, you're actually holding yourself back from your next growth opportunity, your next chapter, your next leap. And this is the moon energetically wrapping up a huge story before it starts all over again from a full moon perspective next month when we get to October and we have that Aries full moon, right? So this is regeneration time. This is an opportunity to evaluate where you're at, and Mercury's going to be stationing retrograde the day before, right? So acknowledging the past, where there have been wrongs or things done that you're still holding on to, that you're not moving on from, and to drop them within yourself. Right now, some of you, it might be right to actually reach out. If you are somebody that did something wrong and you've been avoiding the accountability, well, then this would be your opportunity. Now, Mercury Retrograde says your attempt to make amends might fall on deaf ears, depending on, if you're the one doing wrong. The other person or whoever's involved might not feel like picking up that phone for you. But you have to accept that as a repercussion, and like, how do I move forward better so that I don't repeat the same pattern, so that I don't do this again, right? And so now you can expect from the Saturday the 10th and for the following 2 weeks until the 25th, you can expect there to be a lot of hypersensitivity, hyper-emotional volatility, because especially when people don't know what's going on and it just kind of hits them, this is a rush of emotions. This is a rush call to process on a deep level. And not everybody, as we know, not everybody is on that wavelength. So you just have to keep that in mind with that Pisces full moon. Okay, now that's a very long-winded little detour to now say on the 10th, the moon goes void at 5:29 p.m. and it enters Aries at 11:47 p.m. So there's also this like nice little patch of time between 1:56 p.m. when the moon has a sweet little conjunction to Neptune, its happy place. So you can shift your focus to the arts, you can vision board, you can do some like mapping of your dreams and expanding your mind, really getting like emotionally philosophical and just explorational, right? It's just a great day to kind of like, the moon, has a nice little conjunction to, that Neptunian dreamy vision mapping energy, and then all the way until it enters Aries at 11:47 p.m. It's just a great way to work with that, especially as Mercury's retrograde, processing and moving, and, you might feel really tired. Pisces moons, we typically do, and the full moon component might be like, you know what, instead of fighting, I'm going to sleep. But that means the moon is in Aries on Sunday, which is Patriot Day, and it has, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's got two adjusting aspects. That's all right. And then the Aries moon goes void at 9:53 a.m. Monday, September 12th, with a square to Pluto. So that Aries moon is, it's kicking us into a whole new season again. We're like starting a new cycle. But it is one of clearing the way, right? A square to Pluto is an energy of overcoming, an energy of change, and, having to strike a balance. In a way of, make necessary adjustments and figure out how you're going to proceed and move forward. Not the nicest energy, but, it doesn't have to be, if you know, like, okay, there's action needed and I need to strike a balance, so how do I find that, that Mars is looking for strategy. So it's like, okay, Mars, adjust your strategy, or like go back to your strategy and say, is this part of, what I was mapping out, or is it not? And I need to, do I need to revise the strategy, or do I need to create one? How do I proceed? That's kind of the ultimate question. All right, now planetary wise, again, Venus enters Virgo at the very top of the week if you're on the East Coast, or 9:05 p.m. tonight, the 4th. And then Wednesday, that Sun quincunx Chiron, that's an adjusting aspect again. And then Venus with her adjusting aspect to Jupiter on Friday. Just remember, the back half of the week, just kind of icky. So you really want to be especially flexible Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. While we just got to let Mercury calm down, we got to let the full moon calm down, and just let this energy do what the energy needs to do, right? So don't try to fight it. Don't try to resist it. Just work with it. How can you work with the energy? And then, of course, Sunday was that big shift on the Saturn front going into the Gemini decan, that subdivision, right? So a lot of Mercury. So just explore your options, ask a lot of questions, live curious. Okay, that's the ultimate message. Live curious. I will see you throughout social media. Can't wait to see how all the self-care challengers are going. Remember, we have 40 of us this year. It's amazing. So keep up your posting, and you're getting closer and closer to me pulling names out of the cool hat and seeing who wins the reading, who wins the cosmic body oil, the zodiac superlative candle, like so many things. And also keep your eyes on your inbox and on your social media this week, because the new website's gonna be dropping, and there's so many cool parts of it now. And if you want to go see the web garbage, you better go ASAP, because it's not going to be there for too much longer. Hey, I know my strengths, okay? And thank you to Narina, who's really, helping in a very big way. Okay, folks, I'm signing off, and I will see you throughout the week. And if you're not on the newsletter, get on that newsletter. That cosmic news train, it's got a lot of information coming to it. All right, send in love, guys. Talk to you soon. Bye. This is Graham Breitenstein, and you've been listening to This Week with Drunk Astrology. If you want to follow Drunk Astrology, head to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and hit that follow button. And if you want to learn how to put astrology in motion for you, head to drunkastro.com and get on the insider list. If you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google platforms. Tune in next week for yet another opportunity to work in sync with the stars. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you soon.